Hi, I'm Hedy Goldsmith. I'm the executive chef at Verde restaurant located at the Perez Art Museum. Today we're making my favorite cookies. We're making black and white cookies. Here we are with my friend Jessica Sirmans.
Hi, Hedy.
Hi, Jess.
I'm so glad to be here.
I'm thrilled that you're here baking with me today.
It's going to be fun. But let's talk about the masks in the room.
Yeah, you mean the elephant in the room?
That's right.
Absolutely.
So I've been tested. I know you've been tested.
Many times, yes.
So I think we're okay to take them down and kind of keep them nearby in case,
Okay.
and we'll keep our distance. But
absolutely.
we'll roll like that, and maybe it'll be a little more comfortable.
I think so.
Okay, great.
Terrific. Okay. So we're going to make black and white cookies.
We're going to make black and white.
I'm really excited. I have all the ingredients on both sides of our mixers here. We're going to be dueling mixers. Starting off with creaming. We're going to take our butter, which is really at room temperature, and the butter's going to go in. Got a little spatula here.
So it doesn't need to be cold. You want it to be
I want it to be room temperature. You know, it's an interesting thing about temperature, and I'm glad you mentioned that. When you're baking, you want to have all your ingredients at the same temperature.
Okay, that's interesting.
Do you ever add like cold milk to warm butter and it looks like there's fish that are floating? It's because of the temperature, it starts to chill.
So everything, if it's egg, everything?
Everything. Egg, I always keep it room temp. So we're going to dump our sugar right in with our butter.
Both of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because we're standing, there is absolutely no calories. So the fact that we're putting 2 containers of sugar in here, please don't let that upset you.
Okay.
So you've got the old school mixer, and I've got the new.
And I like we're doing black and white, and you've got the black
mixer,
racial harmony, as they say
everything.
in Seinfeld land. Okay. What speed am I going at?
You're gonna go. It's medium. A medium speed. That's the old mixer, so I think it's probably
like a 4.
Yeah, there.
Okay.
We're gonna cream it. Let's talk about black and white cookies, if we can, for a minute. We both said it at the same time on our when we were speaking to each other, and I love black and whites. I know you do too.
I do too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think about going. I grew up in New York. I grew up in Westchester, so we used to take Metro North down into the city. As soon as you get to Grand Central, you go to Zaro's and get a black and white cookie.
Absolutely.
If you're running around, you go to Zabar's. I mean, it's just. It is New York to me that like it's a hot dog or pizza.
Exactly. Or soft pretzel.
That's right. Right. It's even though Philly might try to claim that, but
Philly girl.
But yeah, it's just a New York thing, right? You know, and you can be very particular, as New Yorkers can be, on what you like in it and what you don't.
Absolutely.
What kind of frosting or icing or fondant, which I just learned. I didn't realize that a lot of them use fondant.
Right.
So
because it's easier.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super sweet though.
Yeah, it is.
So we're gonna do kind of textbook with a little variation.
A little Hedy.
Yeah, let's Hedyize it.
Yeah, there we go. Should I scrape this down? Or
so what you'll do is you'll turn it off, and scrape it down.
Okay.
The reason we do that is because you want to get everything incorporated into it. You know, people are afraid to bake. I know you're not, which is thrilling to me. People are afraid to bake because it's so specific.
Yes.
That's why I love baking, because it's so specific.
Is that right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's why I love cooking, because I can just do whatever I want.
Cooking provides a fun kind of little bit spontaneous type thing.
Yes.
Baking is more of a process.
Do you think that speaks to the personalities of the chefs and bakers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It certainly does.
Okay.
So once that's creamed, which I see it is, you want it to be like a thick mayonnaise. We're going to add our egg to that while it's on slow. And I've taken the liberty of cracking the egg because I don't like doing that on camera.
I was worried I was going to do that on camera.
Well, I thought so. So you've got the egg in there. And you're going to see that the egg, because it's room temperature and the butter is room temperature, you're not going to get those floaters. So what we can do, once it's in, we can just raise our speed a little bit. What we're going to do is, see, black and white cookies are not really cookies, but they are cookies. Yeah. They're more like cake. Right. So I would never incorporate this much air into the egg
For a cookie.
For a cookie.
Got it.
Because it would rise and fall. But for black and whites, you want that. So you see how beautifully incorporated it is?
Yeah, really fast.
Really fast.
Yeah.
So what we can do now is we can scrape again.
Okay.
A lot of scraping.
Do you scrape the beater too, or no?
Yeah, you can scrape if they're big, like
Big
pieces
chunks.
on there. Yeah.
Whoop. Okay.
Okay.
Keep mixing.
Yeah, what we're going to do now, because there's a fair amount of flour, we're going to do it in 3 separate additions.
Okay.
But what we'll do is we'll start with 1/3 of the flour, then we'll go into a little bit of the sour cream.
Oh, sour cream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what makes this cookie so good. You could use Greek yogurt, but sour cream is
Why
it's
not
so
use
New
sour
York.
cream?
Yeah. It's so deli.
That's right.
So what we can do is we can add about 1/3 of the flour
Okay.
in.
I'm gonna lift
Yeah.
this up a little bit.
And actually, what I've done is I've incorporated the leavening right into the flour.
Oh, okay. Great. Now, what kind of flour? Just all-purpose flour?
I use all-purpose flour, but I'm a little bit political when it comes to flour. I use King Arthur or Bob's Red Mill. I like companies that are 100% employee-owned.
Oh, I didn't know that
Yeah.
about King. I like King Arthur flour too, but I didn't know that.
I love it. So I try to support them.
Yeah.
And it's unbleached. Because why do we need to bleach flour?
Why? It's true.
So it's just going to go for a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to take half of our sour cream.
While it's going?
Yeah, you stop it.
Okay.
So it's not a mess.
Half.
Yeah, let's do half. Mix it a little bit.
It's not a lot of liquid.
No, not a lot of liquid at all. As a matter of fact, this cookie is more like a cake batter. You're going to find that out. So we can stop
Okay.
and add another 1/3 of the flour.
Okay.
I've really tried to streamline this recipe and do it all at once, but it
Uh-huh.
really makes a difference if you do it in thirds.
So this, I know most cakes you add
It's
wet,
their-
dry, wet, dry.
Yeah, and always start with the dry and end with the dry.
But you don't do that with cookies. Is that true or false? Like if you were making a typical cookie, would you still do that?
No, I would put all my flour in at once.
Yeah. And should I scrape?
Yep.
Okay.
You can stop, you can scrape, and we can add the last 1/3.
Okay.
I hope we haven't lost any viewers because of all the scraping and mixing and all of that.
And the thing.
And the thing and the thing.
Okay.
You know, your mixer, a friend of mine, that's her mixer, and it's about 15 years old.
Mine is about that too.
And
I
you have
got
a
it as a
KitchenAid?
wedding gift.
I don't trade it in.
No.
You know, your daughter may say, Mom, there's a new best thing out there, but that's like the best. That's the best mixer.
It really is. Ooh, I'm making a mess, Hedy,
That's
on
okay.
your friend's mixer. Tell her I'm sorry.
It's a tiny mixer.
Okay.
I've got the commercial one.
I know. Now, this is what it looks like when I'm baking at home. Like all over everything.
That's okay.
Okay.
The cleanup is.
Is there magic cleanup?
Ah.
All right.
Okay. Then you'll add the last 1/3,
Okay.
and then we're done.
Okay.
Voila. Then we can do the fun part of the recipe.
All right. I'm gonna.
So, a little.
Are you already done?
A little. Hey, that's the professional.
That's why
over
you got the
here.
job.
The overachiever. So, if you at this point just get the flour until it's incorporated,
Okay.
then we can mix it with our spatula, which probably sounds like it's
Okay.
good. So, little technical bit here. If you overmix the cake batter with the flour in it, once flour and liquid hit each other and like integrate, it starts to create gluten.
Okay.
So you want to mix it the least amount once the flour's in. So we can drop our mixer.
Okay. Okay, Hedy, when I'm at home and I'm mixing like this, I turn this on and
Just
lift it
to
up a little
exactly
bit.
to
Is that
empty out
okay?
that's perfect.
Okay.
And you know, anytime you want to come to Verde and bake with me, I would be honored.
It's on camera now, so
Yeah.
everybody knows that you said that when I show up.
Yes, exactly. It's legit now. So last time we have to scrape, I promise. You want to get all the good stuff.
There's
So-
no place for me to duck and start licking down this beater.
No, but we'll go in the back and we'll do that.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
once your beater's done, which I see that it is,
Okay.
what we're going to do is we're going to talk really quickly about flavorings.
Okay.
Now, everybody has their own flavor profile for black and white cookies.
Right.
Vanilla to me is kind of the end all be all with everything.
Okay.
And you're going to see that you have vanilla bean paste.
Yeah, this does not look like my vanilla at all.
Exactly. By all means, you
This
can
looks
use.
very fancy.
This is very fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure that we can get a close-up of all the vanilla seeds that are in here. This is called vanilla bean paste. And what I like about it is once it's incorporated into the cookie, it's going to give a richness to the cookie. So if we want to add vanilla, we can add vanilla. If we want to add coffee, we can add coffee. We can add any flavor, little citrus. If we wanted to add citrus, I would suggest microplaning it right into the sugar and then kind of doing a thing. I don't know, do you like lemon in yours?
I do like lemon in it, but you added the sour cream, so I'm wondering if that gives it enough, you know
Of
what
a
I mean,
tang.
of a tang that
Sure,
you don't need the
you know,
lemon, but I do like lemon.
We
but
can also incorporate it right into the
I
frosting,
think I'm gonna do this.
the icing. So baking should be a fun thing. So I'm glad you have a fun, light, upbeat sense of humor about this.
I mean,
Do you remember the Seinfeld episode?
yes.
Do you want to talk about that Seinfeld episode that I love so much?
I mean, first of all, the black and white cookie is quintessential New York. Seinfeld is quintessential New York.
Absolutely.
But that episode when they're in the bakery getting babka, which is another New York thing, I
Oh
think.
my God, that babka episode is...
And he starts talking about the black and white cookie being a symbol for racial harmony, and the black and the white, and you got to eat them both together until the cookie turns on him, and and then it becomes a race battle.
Exactly.
But we're gonna keep it like the positive black and white harmony together.
Yeah, that's
kind
exactly.
of that part of it.
And the black and the white part are going to be equal, and
That's
it's
right.
going to be perfect harmony.
Well, and he talked about the different ways people eat black and whites too,
Yeah.
which is true.
Exactly. Do you eat the white first or the black first?
I eat most of the white first and then save a little line of it to eat with the black.
I love
Like
that.
down the middle? 'Cause
Yeah, I've always been a vanilla person.
You
Not
have?
a big chocolate person, but I love baking with chocolate.
Did I beat?
That's perfect.
Okay.
No, that's perfect. So the batter's going to look like cake.
Yeah,
it's not going to look
yeah.
like a cookie because we had mentioned that that it's not your typical cookie.
No.
So now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to portion the cookie onto the sheet pan.
Okay.
Now we can do this a number of ways, whichever's the most comfortable for you. We have sheet pans right here,
Okay.
and they're lined with parchment paper. And I like to bake on parchment. You know, they have those fancy silpats.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that that's the best thing.
I have a couple of those I use.
Do you like them?
They just don't ever feel clean.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
bothers me,
And
yeah.
you really can't use a detergent to make it. So I've got two options here.
Okay.
And we can make large cookies and we can make smaller cookies.
Okay.
So you choose.
So as the non-professional, I'm going to do the one that's going to make me look good, which is the scoop.
I love that.
Yeah.
So just what you're going to do now is you're going to portion it.
Okay.
They do spread.
So you don't have to.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to do the large one. You're going to do the small one. I would kind of give it a little bit of that's perfect.
Okay.
And you'll just go into your corners.
Into the corners.
Yeah. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with a 1/4 cup measure. And you just plop it on down.
Oh, because you put the spray on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that this is the only cookie that is baked right side up, but is iced upside down?
That's right, because it's got the rounded bottom, which I just read also that in some places they're called half moons
Oh, that's cool.
instead of
I
black
didn't
and
know
white
that.
cookies.
It must be the Midwest.
No, it's like upstate New York.
No,
Yeah.
seriously? They wouldn't, you know, like.
I
call 'em-
know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I like these scoopers. I have a lot of different sizes of these at home.
Yeah,
for a
that's
bunch of
really the
different things.
ideal.
Yeah.
So depending on the size cookie you want, you know, I think traditional black and white cookies are so big. I'm embarrassed to tell you that I can eat one. However, if you
Don't
want,
be embarrassed.
If you want smaller ones, of course you can make
Don't
them
be
any
shy.
size, any size you want. The
All
only
right.
difference is I'm going to bake for a little bit longer because of my size.
Right.
Bum.
Okay, is this,
And you're going to bake a little bit low.
this is the right size?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's the right size. I'm going to bake for 16 to 18 minutes. You're probably going to be 12 to 14 minutes.
Okay.
And we have this amazing convection oven. And we'll just throw them right in.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll come out first and then we'll put them right in. And it's great because it's a glass door and we'll be able to watch it bake.
Delicious.
Yeah,
And we can take this and eat a little while we're waiting for that, right?
absolutely. So Jessica, now we're going to do the black and white part
we
of the show. So this is powdered sugar.
Right.
But I just spaced that out. And I pre-sifted it for us because
Okay.
otherwise it gets lumpy.
Right.
So we're going to dump that all in.
Okay.
We're going to make the vanilla and then separate it to make the chocolate.
I got it.
So we've got a little bit of corn syrup here. Corn syrup really is the key to making this shiny and keeping it shiny.
Okay.
So we could put that right in.
And you have that vanilla in here again.
Yeah, I've got that vanilla paste because on the white part of the cookie, we want to see all those beautiful vanilla beans. Okay, once that's in there,
Okay.
perfect. So we've got our vanilla in here.
Uh-huh.
We have our corn syrup.
Uh-huh.
Now we're going to add our whole milk.
It's such a little amount of liquid.
It's
for
such a-
a lot
watch what
of
happens.
sugar.
It's amazing.
It's already melting in.
Exactly. It's going to kind of deflate it, and you can do this in a mixer, but this is like old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do it
This
the
is more
way
fun, anyway.
the way my ancestors did this on the Lower East Side.
Yeah, I don't want to do this with the batter, but I'm good with the sugar. Yeah, it's coming together.
So it is going to come together, absolutely. And the fact that we pre-sifted it, it's great because you're not going to have any of those lumps. You may need to add a little bit more milk, depending. I like to weigh everything rather than do it in the dry cup measures because weighing it is so accurate.
So let me ask you, with this, is this a kind of situation where the more you do it, the softer it'll get? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what we're kind of
Because right
looking
now
for.
it's really firm. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it's too firm. You may
Well-
need to look at it for me.
I'll look at it. No, that looks good.
Okay.
So once you get all the sugar in, we'll look at it again. But you see how mine has started to come together?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you kind of want like a mayonnaise-y thing.
Now, why does yours look like that and mine does not?
Because I'm the professional in the room.
But I'm like dying. I'm like, oh.
You know, Jessica, you know how we remedy that? In my world, give me your bowl.
I like that remedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you take that, I'll take that.
Okay. Here we go. See, it's the spatula. I can tell the difference with this spatula.
Yeah, well, again, the professional in the room. So we want to keep this a little bit on the thick side, but yours was like paste.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So we want to get like mayonnaise-y kind of thing. And
Okay.
yours looks really good. So this is the white part of it.
Okay.
So in this bowl, what we can do is we can take maybe a third of the white and just put it in here.
Okay.
And from there, we're going to make the chocolate. Now the jury's out if it's really chocolate. We're using cocoa powder.
You mean if cocoa powder is really chocolate?
It really is. It's from a cocoa bean, but it's not like we're melting chocolate.
But you would not ever do that for black and white cookies, would you?
No. Traditionally, it's always made with cocoa.
Did I put enough in here?
I would add just a little bit more.
Okay.
And again, you can make adjustments. If it's too thin, we can add more
Sugar.
powdered sugar. You know, powdered sugar has a percentage of cornstarch in it.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's like a thickener. So now that we have that, forgive me for the schmutz here.
It's a lot. Okay. All right, now that we
Or
have
you
that.
can call me and I can just make
There
them
we
at home
go.
and I'll just bring them in.
See, I'm going to use
There you go.
this spoon too.
So you've got cocoa powder.
Yes.
And this cocoa powder is really dark. I like it because it gives a real nice chocolate look to it.
Right.
So I have cocoa powder in here and I have black onyx cocoa powder.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
How does it get so dark?
The black cocoa powder, which is what they use for Oreo cookies,
Okay.
or, you know, that really black,
Yeah.
that makes the intensity.
Okay, got it.
So we're gonna
Okay,
go
where
right
can
in
you
here.
find that? Just restaurant supplies or anywhere?
You know, I get it online.
You do.
Yeah. I don't know if we can plug Amazon here, but Amazon.
I mean, I think everybody would pretty much figure that out. There's like nothing except
there
anymore.
you go.
Okay.
So you've got a little bit of milk, which
Okay.
we reserved from, maybe I reserved too much.
Okay.
So that's gonna go right in. And we're gonna zhuzh it up.
Okay.
And this is the chocolate. Now, you know, I was thinking when we were talking about black and white cookies, this would be fun on the white part of the cookie. It could be any color. You know, you can make orange. And it would be for Halloween, maybe.
I've thought about that for Valentine's Day.
Or you can do
Doing
pink.
pink,
Yeah, of course. And you know, red velvet cake, as much as we say, oh, red velvet cake, it's really chocolate cake
Right.
with red food coloring. So,
Yeah, this looks good.
yeah. So, oh, that's perfect. So now you're ready to
If
put
I do
your
say so myself.
Yeah, there you go. You're
Okay.
ready to put your artistic spin on this?
Yeah, for what it's worth.
Okay.
I'm like the one person in my family that got skipped with any artistic gene, but let's see what happens.
You know, I meant to mention when we were putting this frosting together that I actually put a little bit of salt, a little kosher salt in it. I'm not afraid of salt. I happen to love salt, but salt's going to cut a lot of the sweetness, which it kind of teases the palate.
Yeah, that sounds hilarious when you say you put salt and sugar to cut the sweetness.
Absolutely.
Like,
Oh,
but I get it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to start with, what do you want to start with, the white or the black?
Does it?
Doesn't matter at all. That's the beauty of it.
I think I'll
doesn't.
start with the white.
Okay, so I'm going to give you one of these big ones
Okay.
too, and I think you'll be able to see it a little bit better
gonna
if
start
you
with
do
the
the
big
large
one.
one.
Okay.
Okay. When I first started making black and white cookies, a little short story, I couldn't figure out how to get the straight line
Yes.
for the life of me. I Googled it, just couldn't do it. I had painter's tape.
Oh, that's
The blue painter's
Yeah.
tape. And I figured, okay, it's not really going to impart a flavor, and it was just for me eating
Yeah.
it. So I put painter's tape. It truly works. And then I just did a little smear and pulled the tape off, and it was a perfect straight line.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, today we're not going to use
We're not
that
gonna do
because
that.
our members are going to say she's using tape.
Yeah. Well,
So I
that's
gave
okay.
you an offset spatula,
Okay.
and I gave you a straight edge.
I don't have. Oh, okay.
So what we'll do is we'll put this straight edge down,
Okay.
and you'll get the frosting, and you'll just use that as a, and then we'll lift it up,
Okay.
and it'll be a straight line.
Right, I'm gonna do it like
Yeah, you can
take a little of this.
take a little zhuzh. You see the vanilla beans inside the frosting?
Hedy, have you heard that when you frost these, one side is supposed to be higher than the other?
No,
I know.
that's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
One side is supposed to be slightly higher than the other.
And which side is that?
I guess that's whatever side you like. For you, I guess it would be the vanilla.
Okay. Does that mean it has more frosting?
Slightly.
Okay, then I'm down for it.
Okay.
And okay, your straight line's going to be much better than my straight line.
Well, I have to have some advantage here.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. Yay!
Oh,
So
it's a
that's,
little.
No, that's fine because the chocolate's going to take care of it. So now that we have the white done, what we'll do is we'll refrigerate it
Oh, okay.
until it gets a little bit firm.
Okay.
And then we'll do the chocolate.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think these are ready. I think
Okay.
they're set. You can kind of touch it and it
Oh
feel-
yeah. Uh-huh.
So that'll be really easy now.
And
to
they are super
put
shiny. That's from the cornstarch.
It's-
the
corn syrup.
Corn syrup,
Yeah. You know, go back and forth with corn syrup that, you know, it's high fructose and all of that. But you could probably, you know, I've never made it with agave. Never made it with honey. Always use it with corn syrup.
Are those substitutes for corn syrup?
No, not really.
Yeah.
There's really no substitute for corn syrup. Although I think the Brits have like a treacle or some kind of syrup, golden syrup.
But you know, I think if you're using it in this way, like I don't want high fructose corn syrup in like my English muffin. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
But a little topping on a cookie, it seems like that's where it should be, right?
Absolutely. And wow, it's like we need sunglasses here because they're so shiny.
They are shiny.
So the chocolate layer, or the second color you choose to use, is going to be easier because you're going to follow the contour, which is perfect. So my black and white.
Yours is perfect.
Yeah, but don't worry about it
Well,
because
I am worried
because
about
what
it.
don't.
It's
Don't-
very uneven.
Well, and it's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to settle onto itself.
Okay.
It's going to be shiny and flat.
Okay.
So let's put these guys down,
Okay.
and then we can throw those back in the fridge until they're set, and then we can eat them.
Okay, awesome.
Fantastic. Now comes the fun part. This is a traditional black and white cookie, but you can always add embellishments.
See?
I think it's fun, especially if you're with the kids and they just want to add some cool things. So we have a little bit of lavender sugar, which is kind of fun. It's like a sanding sugar. It's purple and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's fun and festive. We've got cocoa nibs here, which are from roasted cocoa beans. We have classic jimmies. Do you say sprinkles or jimmies?
Sprinkles.
Where are you from?
New York.
New York. I'm a Philly girl.
And it's Jimmy's.
I call them jimmies.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I'm going to jimmy up the.
Okay.
the
You know,
the
this
chocolate
is like
side.
a sacrilege thing
It-
that's
I know
happening
it is.
here. It's
I-
just
I
like
know.
putting ketchup on a hot dog.
Oh please, I would never go
it's
that far.
not.
No,
But
never.
you do have
I would never.
Princess Purple, and
Yeah,
I'm a big
well,
Prince
yeah,
fan,
unicorny and
I'll
that
let it
kind
go.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could put a little bit of the sugar on.
Okay.
I have sesame seeds here, which would be fun because if you put like a ginger, fresh ginger in the cookie, I know. What
are you saying?
Crazy, right? So out of the way. Please, it is a sacrilege, but
I'm gonna look for a ginger.
I gotta Hedyize it.
I'm gonna look for a ginger sesame black and white at Verde.
There you go. You're on.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for that.
So on this side, we could do a little of this. You know, you don't want to muck it up too much. These little things are really cute. They're milk chocolate with caramel centers, and they just stick right to the chocolate. So it can be fun. I think this is a cookie. It's like a blank palette, if you will, and you can create anything with
Yeah,
it.
this would be fun. While I'm aghast at what's happening here,
Right.
kids would, like my daughter, would love.
Absolutely. I think that's really the best kind of COVID fun thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, while we're home,
I agree.
we're going to do that. So please,
gonna do a
New
little
Yorkers,
purple.
if you're watching, this is a sacrilege, but this is fun.
It wasn't my idea.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the New Yorkers' idea,
Yeah.
but it was my Philly girl.
But I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, and I'm still not going to put ketchup on a hot dog.
Please.
No,
Okay.
never. So thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks, Hedy.
Equal, black and white.